Ladies, let me tell y'all something right now. If you walked into this room today with a broken heart, with questions spinning in your mind, with that silence sitting heavy on your chest because you ain't heard from him, I need you to sit up straight. I need you to take a deep breath because today you're going to walk out different. See, too many of you have been carrying the weight of a man's silence like it's your burden to fix. Too many of you have been driving yourself crazy, filling in the blanks when he don't call, when he don't text, when he don't check on you. You replay every moment in your head asking, what did I do wrong? Did I say too much? Did I not say enough? And let me tell you that silence starts to feel like rejection. It starts to feel like you're invisible. It starts to whisper lies in your ear. He don't care. You ain't worth it. You ain't enough. But no, baby, that's not what silence means. Silence is not the end. Silence is not proof of your unworthiness. Silence is the beginning of something powerful. Silence is the moment when God sits you down and says, daughter, stop listening to his noise and start listening to yourself. Silence means it's time for you to remember who you are. So tonight, I'm going to break it all the way down for you. I'm going to show you exactly what happens in a man's mind when you don't reach out. I'm going to show you how silence flips the script, how silence puts you back in position, how silence makes him see you in a way he never did before. But first, I got to ask, are you ready? Are you really ready? Because once I tell you this truth, you won't ever beg for attention again. Silence is a teacher, ladies. Let me tell you something right now. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is a teacher. It's one of the most powerful tools you've got in your toolbox as a woman. And most of you don't even realize it because you've been conditioned to believe that if you're not speaking, if you're not explaining, if you're not reaching out, you're losing. But baby, silence doesn't mean you're losing. Silence means you're learning. Silence means you're teaching. Silence means you're taking the power that was slipping out of your hands and pulling it right back. See, a lot of you in this room, you're addicted to filling the gaps. You can't stand it when he doesn't text back, when he doesn't call, when he goes quiet. You get this knot in your stomach and you say to yourself, if I don't say something, if I don't reach out, if I don't break the silence, I'm going to lose him. But ladies, hear me. When you break the silence too soon, when you keep rescuing him from the discomfort of your absence, you rob yourself of the greatest lesson silence can teach, that a man will show you exactly who he is when you stop showing up. Because here's what happens in silence, you get clarity. Silence strips away the noise. It strips away the sweet talk, the excuses, the I've been busy, the you know I care about you, all that fluff. When you stop reaching out, you force the situation into the light. Does he care enough to reach for you? Or was he only invested because you kept the fire burning? Silence tells you the truth in a way words never could. And let's talk about him for a second, because silence doesn't just teach you, it teaches him. See, as long as you're the one keeping the conversation alive, he doesn't have to lift a finger. He can sit back and relax because he knows you're going to call. You're going to text. You're going to keep it going. But the moment you stop, that's when he feels the drop. That's when the silence hits him in the chest. That's when the man who thought he had you on a string starts to realize, hold up, the music stopped. And let me tell you something about men. When the music stops, when the attention stops, when the supply runs dry, they notice. Think about it. Imagine you walk into your house every day and there's food on the table. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. You don't even think about it. You don't say thank you. You just eat. But the day you walk in and the plate is empty, oh, you notice then. That's what your silence does to a man. It takes away the constant meal he's been fed, and suddenly he's starving. Suddenly he's uncomfortable. Suddenly he's forced to realize, dang, I've been taking that food for granted. I've been taking HR for granted. Now let me bring this home to your healing. Because silence isn't just about teaching him. It's about teaching yourself. When you pull back, when you stop reaching out, you give yourself the room to breathe. You give yourself the chance to hear your own thoughts, to feel your own emotions without his voice clouding your judgment. And that's where growth begins. Because sometimes, ladies, you can't hear your own voice until you stop listening to his. Sometimes you don't even know what you need because you're too busy worrying about what he needs. But silence, that pause, that quiet, it's sacred. That's the space where you discover you don't need him to validate you. You don't need him to answer you. You don't need him to call you baby. Just so you can sleep at night. You realize you already had everything you needed inside of you. And don't get it twisted. Silence ain't easy. Silence is uncomfortable. Silence feels like weight. It feels like maybe he forgot you. Maybe he moved on. Maybe you don't matter. But that's the illusion. That's the test. Because in that silence, if you can resist the urge to run back, you'll come out stronger, wiser, sharper. Silence stretches your patience. It builds your strength. It teaches you self-control. Because ladies, let's be real, a woman who can master her silence can master her life. When you understand silence, you stop reacting. You stop jumping every time your phone lights up. You stop waiting by the door for a man who ain't even sure if he wants to walk through it. You stop begging, stop proving, stop explaining. Instead, you let the silence do the talking. Because silence says, I will not chase you. Silence says, I will not beg for what should come freely. Silence says, if you want me, you better step up, because I ain't stepping down. So when I tell you silence is a teacher, I mean it. It teaches him who you are, it teaches you who he is, and it teaches both of you what the truth really looks like without the extra words in the way. And if you can stand in that silence, if you can let it work on you instead of running from it, you're going to come out the other side a new woman, more powerful, more grounded, and more certain of your worth than ever before. Because the silence you're afraid of right now, baby, that's the silence that's going to set you free. His ego gets shook, ladies. Listen to me right now. When you stop reaching out, when you stop texting first, when you stop filling his phone with, hey, just checking on you, or did you eat today? Something happens inside of him that he may never admit out loud. His ego gets shook. And I don't mean a little nudge. I mean the ground underneath him starts to tremble, because for the first time he's faced with the possibility that he's not as important in your world as he thought he was. Let me paint this picture for you. Men live in their ego. The ego is like armor for them. It's their pride, their confidence, their sense of power. And as long as you're calling, texting, reaching out, checking in, that ego is sitting pretty. He feels like the king on the throne. He don't have to wonder if he matters to you, because your actions tell him every single day, you're the man, you got her. She'll come to you no matter what. And for him, that's fuel, that's comfort, that's security. But the moment you stop, the moment the good morning text doesn't come through, the moment you don't double text after he left you on read, the moment he realizes that you've gone quiet, oh baby, that armor cracks. That king on the throne suddenly feels like a boy sitting in the dark wondering where mama went, because his ego thrives on being needed. And when you don't feed that ego, when you starve it with your silence, he starts to panic in ways you can't even imagine. See, men won't admit this, but their ego is fragile. It's like glass. It looks strong when it's standing, but one hard tap and it shatters. And your silence, that's the tap. That's the thing that makes him sit up at night, replaying your last conversation, wondering if he said something wrong, questioning if another man has your attention. He'll try to brush it off. I ain't worried about her. She'll be back. But in the back of his mind, oh, he's worried. He's replaying every move because now, for once, he doesn't feel in control. Let me tell you how you know his ego is shook. He starts fishing. He'll post something on social media he knows you'll see just to see if you bite. He'll send a dry little text. What's up? After 3 days of silence, just to check if you're still on the hook, he'll casually mention another woman trying to get a reaction out of you because his ego needs to know you still care. Ladies, all of that ain't love, it's ego, and your silence exposes it. Now, here's the beautiful part when you stop reaching out. When you let him sit in that silence, you separate his ego from his heart. Because if he's only showing up for the ego boost, he won't last. But if his feelings are real, if his care is genuine, your silence will make him step up, not just show up. He'll have to decide, am I going to let her slip away, or am I going to humble myself and be the man she deserves? That's what happens when the ego gets shook. It forces the boy to either grow into a man or lose the woman who could have changed his life. But let's be real. Some of y'all too scared to let his ego crack. You're afraid that if you don't reach out, he'll just move on. You're afraid that silence means the end. But hear me, if silence makes him disappear, then you never had him in the first place. You had his ego, not his heart. You had his need for attention, not his love. And wouldn't you rather know that now than waste another 6 months feeding a man's ego while starving your own spirit? Ladies, when his ego gets shook, don't rush in to fix it. Don't rescue him from the discomfort of losing your attention. Let him sit in it. Let him feel it. Because that discomfort is where the truth is born. That discomfort is what forces him to reevaluate how he's been treating you. That discomfort is what makes a man say, hold up, I can't play with her. She ain't one of those women I can half love. I gotta come correct. And let me tell you something about men. They may not respond to lectures, they may not respond to tears, but they always respond to a shift in energy. And silence, that's the biggest shift you can make. That's the moment where the game flips and suddenly he's not the one being pursued, you are. Suddenly he's chasing, he's proving, he's checking himself because his ego can't stand the thought that he lost you. So remember this, when you stop reaching out, you don't just go quiet, you shake his entire foundation. You put a crack in the armor he thought could never break. And that crack, that's where the truth slips in. That's where the boy's ego gets exposed, and the man inside either rises or disappears. And either way, baby, you win. He starts to respect the space, ladies. Let me break something down for you. Men don't respect what's always there. They respect what they might lose. And the moment you stop reaching out, the moment you stop filling every empty space with your words, your calls, your energy, that's when he starts to respect the space. That silence that once scared you, that distance that felt like rejection, that's actually the very thing that forces him to see your value differently. See, when you're always available, when you're always the one reaching out first, you're teaching him something without even realizing it. You're teaching him that no matter how he treats you, no matter how inconsistent he is, no matter how much he drifts in and out, you're going to be there. You're going to call. You're going to text. You're going to bridge the gap. And when a man learns that lesson, he relaxes into it. He stops trying. He stops showing up fully because he knows you'll cover the distance for him. But the minute you stop doing that, the whole energy shifts. He notices the silence. He notices that little gap of space where your words used to be. And at first, it might annoy him. He might roll his eyes and think, she's just being dramatic. But when the silence stretches on, when he realizes you're not playing games, you're not pouting, you're just living your life, that's when he starts to respect it. Because men are wired to chase. They're wired to move toward what's valuable, not what's handed to them. And when you pull back, when you give him the gift of space, he feels that natural pull kick in. He may not even understand it, but suddenly he's more curious about you. Suddenly he's thinking, what's she doing? Who's she with? Why is she so quiet? That curiosity grows into respect because now he sees you don't revolve your life around him. He sees you've got your own rhythm, your own world, your own light that shines with or without him. Let me tell you a truth a lot of women don't want to hear. When you stop chasing, you don't lose value, you gain it. Your silence tells him something words never could. I don't need you to complete me. I want you, but I don't need you. And when a man realizes he's dealing with a woman who can stand on her own 2 feet, he respects that. He may not say it out loud, but deep down, he knows he can't play with you like he could play with others. And here's the thing, respect grows in distance. Think about a song you hear on the radio every day. At first, you love it, but after a while, you don't even notice it's playing anymore. Now imagine not hearing that song for months, and then one day it comes back on. Suddenly, it hits different. You remember why you loved it in the first place. That's how men experience your silence. When you're always there, he stops hearing the music. But when you step back, when you create space, suddenly he hears it again. And this time it's louder. So don't fear the space. Don't rush to fill it. Let it stretch. Let him sit in it. Because in that silence, he learns to appreciate your presence. In that distance, he learns the difference between a woman who waits by the phone and a woman who builds her life regardless. And when that lesson sinks in, respect follows. He starts to measure his words more carefully. He starts to check himself before he disappears for days. He starts to realize that your silence is not weakness, it's strength. Ladies, the space you create is sacred. It's not empty. It's full of your power, your healing, your energy. And when you stop reaching out, when you stand tall in that silence, you teach him a lesson no text, no phone call, no argument could ever teach. You are a